Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our first County Commission meeting of the year and call our meeting to order, if I may. I have the very distinct pleasure, and I'm very proud to introduce Father Rick Pilger from Blessed Sacrament Church, who happens to be my very own priest and pastor. So, Father, please come up and join us. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Please stand, and Commissioner Peters will say the pledge after
Thank you very much for this honor. And I almost wrote a prayer of condolence for the Bucks last night,
Thank you for bringing
but
that
I
up.
resisted. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord God, you alone are good. We praise you for the generous hearts of these county commissioners. We come before you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer together as a team to nurture the bonds of the people we serve. May all we decide be pleasing in your sight and blessed by you. We praise you, Lord God, our Heavenly Father. Amen.
Amen.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Father.
I'm sure they pushed the flags back for the picture earlier. I'm sure they pushed it back for the picture earlier, but we didn't put them back.
All right, and now we are on presentations and awards, and for that, I'll come down and just give me a few seconds while I hobble. Good morning again, everyone. And so our first presentation today is in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, and I have a presentation here to present. I would like to ask Terry Lipsey, I thought I saw her. Come on up, Terry, who is the executive director of the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Museum. You look lovely. I have the same wrap. And so she has now joined me at the podium, and she'll be accepting the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day proclamation on behalf of everyone, right? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity for all, and he challenged all Americans to participate in the never-ending work of building a more perfect and just union. Dr. King's teachings continue to guide and inspire us in addressing challenges and injustice within our communities, including educational opportunity, academic achievement, economic empowerment, and the elimination of poverty. The King Holiday and Service Act, enacted by Congress in 1994, designated the Dr. King Holiday as a national day of volunteer service. Millions of Americans have honored the life and legacy of Dr. King by serving their neighbors and communities on this holiday through service projects that are organized by various nonprofit, community, public, and private organizations. The county recognizes that the legacy of Dr. King lives on through the tremendous work of many community organizations, including the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that January 16th, 2023 be recognized as Dr. Martin Luther King Day. And it is signed by all of us. There you go. And would you like to say a few words? Of course I don't mind.
Thank you so much, Chair Long. To the commissioners, I'm Terry Lipsey Scott, Executive Director of the Woodson African American Museum of Florida, and I am humbled and honored to be in receipt of a proclamation honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And with that, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you. And with that, there's one quote that stands out more than any other to me, and that was, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." And as a beacon in our community, you have been elected to carry that torch and be that beacon of light, for which we all give thanks. And we pay a debt of gratitude to each of you. And we're hopeful that your light will be a beacon to others, and that we will forever honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Excellent.
Thank you so very much.
Oh, I forgot about you. I apologize. One of the most important pieces. Our little Miss Perfectionist over here. And this proclamation that we have now is for the National Mentoring Month proclamation. I would like to ask Lori Matway, Associate Superintendent of Student and Community Support Services. Good morning.
Hey, Lori.
Amber Brown. Is Amber here?
Seymour.
Oh, Seymour, I am so sorry. My eyes deceive me once again. Please come up, Dr. Brown. Director of the Office of Strategic Partnerships, and Debbie Bushman, Lunch Pals Coordinator, all from the Pinellas County School Board, to join me at the podium. They will be accepting the National Mentoring Month proclamation. The goals of National Mentoring Month are to raise awareness of the value of mentoring, recruit individuals to mentor, and encourage organizations to engage and integrate quality mentoring into their efforts. A mentor is a caring person who is consistently present and who devotes time to a young person to help them discover their personal strength and achieve their full potential through a structured, trusting relationship. Quality mentoring encourages positive choices, promotes self-esteem, sports, academic achievement, and introduces young people to new ideas. Mentoring programs have also been effective in combating school violence and discipline problems, substance abuse, incarceration, and truancy. Research shows that youth who participate in a mentoring relationship are more likely to finish high school and continue on to college. National Mentoring Month gives us the opportunity to appreciate the staff and volunteers who dedicate their time to quality mentoring programs and celebrate the young people who have found their inner strength with the help of a mentor. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that January 2023 be recognized as National Mentoring Month. We urge all to observe this week by taking time to recognize and acknowledge the impact of mentors in Pinellas County who give so unselfishly of their time and talents so students can be successful. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. Madam Commissioner and Commissioners, on behalf of Pinellas County Schools, we are very excited to bring you this proclamation for National Mentoring Month for January. We are excited for the more than 3,500 students who are serviced by the more than 2,500 mentors in our district, and we would encourage, and we're going to continue to encourage, to go out and to seek partnerships in the community so that we can continue to grow that number. So on behalf of Pinellas County Schools, thank you for taking this time. And Ms. Matway, did you have anything? Yeah.
Thank you all. One, I just want to thank the commissioners for always having that policy to allow your staff to mentor in our schools. It's very impactful when you can take an hour of your week to come and give to another. And our students appreciate your time. They appreciate the time that they get to learn from you. We want to grow our own. We want them to come back and work for Pinellas County. So I thank you and continue and encourage all to find one student to touch each day so we can make an impact and make a difference for all. Thank you.
Ms. Bushman, do you have? Thank you all very much, and here is the proclamation, and we do have pictures, right? So now we have a couple of recognition awards and a video. So the first one is for Karen Savone Nitz. Karen, come on up, please. Good morning. How are you? Pinellas County employees find ways to make a difference in the lives of our residents every single day, whether providing first-class services, supporting residents in need, or protecting our community. The staff is always finding ways to go above their role. To thank them, we honor some of those outstanding employees with our Employee Appreciation Program. Today, we have 2 employees here to be recognized for their work. We start with Karen Savone Nitz, a financial services manager for our Safety and Emergency Services Department. Sorry about that. Karen has worked for Pinellas County for the last 21 years, 17 of which were Safety and Emergency Services. Before that, she worked for the Supervisor of Elections Office and the Clerk of the Court's Financial Division. In that time, Karen has become one of the most trusted members of the finance team. She makes sure programs like ambulance transportation and 911 services are financially supported, and every dollar in the budget is accounted for. On behalf of the county, I want to thank you for the impressive work you do and present you with this Pinellas County Employee Recognition. And I do believe we have a little video to show.
My name is Karen Cervone-Nitz. I am the Financial Services Manager for the Safety and Emergency Services Department. I manage the day-to-day operations of the budget and financial functions for the department, which includes 911, EMS and fire admin, and ambulance billing.
Karen is a joy to work with. She's the ultimate employee that every director aspires to have. The 17 years we've worked together, we have been through numerous audits, and to date, we have not had any material findings. It's a complex budget. We have 5 special revenue funds, 23 cost centers, multiple programs, so it's critical. All those $309 million of expenditures are properly accounted for. Once it passes Karen's desk, you can be sure that it's going to be processed and processed accurately.
I'm a numbers person by nature, and I love being able to use my knowledge and expertise to focus on the core financial aspects of my job, which then allows the financial directors to focus on the operational missions for the department.
She is one of many, but a very crucial member of kind of the invisible staff that is behind ambulance transportation services when we're having those difficult times in our life, when we need an ambulance for ourselves or a loved one. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into making sure that ambulance is there when you need it and is properly stocked and has the right personnel on board, and Karen is a crucial part of that.
I really enjoy my job. Every day brings a little different challenge, and it's rewarding to know that I contribute to the overall success of the department. When I see a Sunstar ambulance on the road responding to an emergency, I know that I play a part in providing the support for that service. My name is Karen Cervone-Nitz, and I am Pinellas County. I just want to say thank you to everyone, my team members back in the office, and Jody Setchler, who I wouldn't be able to do what I do without her. And I also want to thank my family and friends for joining me today for this special honor. Thank you.
You're so welcome, and we're so glad we have you. Would you like to invite some of your family to come up and get in the picture with us? Family?
Sure. I have a lot of family.
Well, okay, as big as the camera will allow.
How about my husband, and
Oh.
we'll keep it simple.
Okay. Barry, do you have a few words you'd like to offer?
Well, everybody here knows the complex operations that we have out of Safety and Emergency Services. It's a big financial operation, so the operational piece wouldn't happen without the coordination and the administration that goes in to keeping everything straight and paying the bills. So again, on behalf of everyone, thank you so much.
Thank you. And does she make those kind of decisions at home? She does. I bet.
Everything by the book.
I'm not surprised. Okay. Okay, our last recognition is for Dwayne Adams. Dwayne, please come up. Hello. Welcome. James is a veteran service officer with the Human Services Department's Veterans Service Office. Dwayne has been representing veterans and their families for over 2 years now. Prior to working with Pinellas County, Dwayne served 20 years on active duty in the United States Marine Corps in numerous roles, including a helicopter door gunner recruiter, and aviation instructor. Some of his medals include the Air Medal with Combat V, Navy Commendation Medal, and Navy Achievement Medal. Congratulations on those. The name, dedication, and determination that he served our nation with is duplicated every day at Veterans Services. In fiscal year 2022, Dwayne made an incredible impact on the veterans of Pinellas County by submitting over 317 claims, bringing in over $1.9 million. Most of the benefits awarded through his assistance will carry on as monthly benefits, helping veterans and their families for years to come. Dwayne, on behalf of Pinellas County, I want to thank you for your outstanding work and present you with this Employee Recognition Award. Another one for your I Love Me wall. Were you flying in the Black Hawk?
CH-53.
Oh, well, very good. Thank you. So, and now we're going to get our picture taken with him? Oh, the video. Oh, we have a video. Did you have the helicopter in there?
My name is Dwayne Adams Jr. I am a Veteran Service Officer with Pinellas County Veteran Services. My duties entail assisting Pinellas County residents, veterans, and their family members with obtaining benefits from the Veteran Services from the Department of Veteran Affairs. I'm a disabled veteran myself. I joined the 17 from Norfolk, Virginia. Right out of high school, went straight into the Marine Corps. My job in the Marine Corps was a helicopter mechanic and a combat air crew gunner.
There's a lot of similarities in this job as to what you do in the military. You know, the military does a lot of assisting. So it's not a big stretch, you know, for someone coming out of the military to do this type of work. And then when you're assisting veterans or you're assisting the veterans' dependents, you know, that kind of comes natural.
Walking around the health fair, I saw a booth for Pinellas County Veterans Services. At the booth was Dwayne. He was so compassionate, and he said, "Are you okay?" And I told him my husband just passed away. He was an Air Force veteran. He said to me, "When you get that death certificate, I want you to call me and make an appointment, and I'm gonna help you with the paperwork." Lo and behold, within 4 days, he had an answer for me that I had gotten approved for everything. I called him up immediately and told him, you know, about what I just got, and I was just so shocked. The only thing I could think to do to thank him was to just write him a really nice thank you card.
Where you have someone that's lost a loved one and that's just really feeling kind of lost. And that service officer, Dwayne, comes in and reassures them. The relief and reassurance that they have, she put it in her letter. And believe it or not, those type of letters are not uncommon.
It gives me inspiration to want to continue to help others. If nothing else, the fact that knowing that I personally was able to give somebody something that has made their lives better, and they thank me for it, that means everything to me.
Soft-spoken, compassionate, even gave me a big hug that I really needed. And so he really is a very, very unique individual.
To be able to help someone who's grieving, a surviving spouse who's grieving, or a veteran who served possibly in Vietnam or Korea, having absolutely no idea what's available to them. To see the look on their faces once they've been approved for different VA benefits, and the hugs and the gratitude that I get from that's more than any paycheck that I could ever receive from here. My name is Dwayne Adams, and I am Pinellas County.
That was my stunt double. That wasn't me. Oh, I don't believe it. Here, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Board, good morning. Everyone, good morning. Thanks for coming out. Well, man, a few words. I'm humbled and honored to be in this position, and to give back to the veterans is something that I've always wanted to do. So to be in a position to do that, I'm just honored, and I don't consider work because I love doing it. So that's why I'm here. So thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Barry?
Connecting our veterans with benefits is a complicated process. It just doesn't happen by chance. Having someone that has the experience you have being in the military and be able to connect people with entitlements that they earned is just amazing. And so from everyone, thank you so much. On behalf of all of our veterans, thank you so much for helping them help themselves. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, now we have to have a picture. And who are we bringing up now?
My brother-in-law.
Good morning. Very nice to have you here. Thank you.
Did you want to, center a little bit this way?
You got a whole crowd.
All right. Now we are in our part of the agenda for citizens to be heard. And the first one that I have is David Balaguetis Jr. Good morning, David. Please come up. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live on Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. The First Amendment states that we have the right to petition our government for a redress of our grievances, in particular addressing religion as a First Amendment establishment. The Declaration of Independence states that when government becomes destructive of this established right, that it is our right to alter or abolish such destructive powers and its principles, stating that all men are created equal. Sadly, turning in on itself, the Declaration disavows itself and adversely declares itself to be deaf to the voice of justice, denouncing itself and labeling us in as their enemy in its establishment, in recognizing of an unwarranted jurisdiction. Federalist Paper 16 sheds light on a conflagrated system of government as to a government being contrived and premeditated in the designs of personal aggrandizement, aiding in the manifestation of foreign and licentious powers, shedding light on the majesty of the British, stating that the judges are embarked in on a surreptitious conspiracy with the legislation, labeling them as engaged in an act of coercion and anarchy in Federalist Paper number 16. Even more so, as things derogate, Federalist Paper 11, Hamilton equates the rest of us human species as not being men, but labels us as dogs, stating that even dogs cease to bark after having breathed in our atmosphere for a while, Which brings us to what is being transpired in the reclaimed water variance as we breathe the atmosphere of what is being transpired from our sprinkler system while giving rise to an unwarranted water jurisdiction. The reclaimed water variance application clearly states that I, the applicant, literally owe my health, my safety, and my religious convictions. We can address these issues in a court, or we will address these issues in an act of warfare on the streets. There's a solution to be had here. And if we're going to make solutions happen in this country, let's make solutions happen. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That ends our section on public comments. We don't have any more cards, do we? Okay. Then we are moving on in our agenda to the consent agenda. Is there anything to be removed from?
Just have one comment.
Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, just one comment. I just want to take the opportunity to remind our residents that we have a division of Inspector General here at the county that works on behalf of the residents to make sure that that we're doing things efficiently, effectively, and with integrity as far as running our departments and doing the things that we need to do in Pinellas County. So the Division of Inspector General, as an example, has 4 reports that they turned in today. One was an investigation of facility operation of employee incentives. The second one was a follow-up investigation of a former county employee. The third one was an unannounced audit of the contractor licensing department. And the fourth was just an audit of an air quality compliance fee and fee collection. So you can see those are just a little small piece of the amount of work that they do on behalf of residents. So you should take some comfort in knowing that your folks here are doing the right thing every single day for you all. So just a comment, that's all. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Eggers. Anything else with regard to consent?
Move approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we are moving on to the item number 19. Mr. Administrator, we're on item number 19.
Item number 19, just 1 second. Okay. Item number 19 is declaring surplus parcels and granting authorization to advertise for disposal of those parcels.
Move approval. Second.
Madam Clerk, could you bring up our vote card, please? And it passes unanimously. Item number 20.
This is under our Employment Sites Grant Program. This is a resolution authorizing an amount not to exceed $4 million for the Tampa Bay Innovation Center Incubator.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you open the card, please?
I just have a positive comment I want to make on that.
You had
Positive comments on this.
Okay.
I just wanted to, first of all, recognize staff for continuing the efforts that you have with the team that's over there at the Innovation Center. There was a wonderful news story on it this morning on Bay News 9 about the Innovation Center and dates of completion. But also just want to share all of the partnerships that have been going on between the City of St. Petersburg for actually donating the land, if you will. That was their component. Our component was about $4 million or so to put in for the construction. And when you talk about the CHIPS Act that was passed and the potential for manufacturing opportunities to come out of that, which is employment opportunities for our community. I thought this morning about Lakewood High School's CAT program, which is focused on science and technology. Some of those youth over there are innovating and creating things and getting their patents. So perhaps they'd be able to use that place, as well as those individuals who have podcasts, which have really become popular now, and some of the minority, small, and women-owned businesses in the area that we talked about early on, having access to that site, I think is wonderful. And I also look forward to hopefully an extended partnership with the smaller Innovation Hub that will be going up on 22nd Street as a result of that entire corridor. I'm looking forward to their partnership, collaboration, so that we now have those opportunities throughout the entire county. So I just wanted to share that because sometimes we don't get to talk about the super, super good things that are going on, but this is one of those things.
Commissioner Johnson, did you have something you wanted?
No, I was just making sure.
Okay.
Oh, no questions, just all positive.
Thank you. All right, and we already took that vote, right? Okay.
It didn't show up on the board.
Oh,
She may have taken it down.
Now it's on your screen.
okay, passed unanimously. All right, and now we're on 21.
This resolution is approving the first substantial amendment to the fiscal year annual action plan for home investment partnership funds. These are additional American Rescue Plan funds that were received from the federal government to fund activities to provide homelessness assistance and supportive services in the amount of just over $4.7 million.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you unlock the voting screen, please? And it passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry, Commissioner Flowers, did you have?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Item number 22.
This is the Fifth Amendment to the behavioral health consulting services with KPMG for the evaluation of Pinellas County adult behavioral health system. This will provide continuous services for the implementation of our CAM and ongoing support as we implement. I'm very excited about this. This is the final piece, but we're seeing substantial movement and everybody coming together to actually deliver on this promise. So very excited. This is hopefully the final piece of getting this done, but much progress has been made.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear that. It's been a long time coming.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Could we possibly maybe have Karen or somebody come up and just speak a little bit to the program again, not necessarily for us, but to the residents?
Those are the two experts right there.
What we are expecting in this coming year. I mean, it's so exciting, but thank you, Karen.
Sure.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning. Karen Yatchum, Human Services Director. So the coordinated access model was proposed by KPMG in their Elevate Behavioral Health report, which was delivered in 2020. And what they have proposed is a centralized intake system for behavioral health services. So one phone number, one website, one place where our residents can go, and they'll receive a triage, an assessment, and then an appointment. And so that really is what's going to set our model apart from others, is that it's not just a list of places to call, it's an appointment.
And Commissioners, you're going to get a much more in-depth report on this at the strategic planning meeting. Because they're also going to update you on Pinellas Matters and talking about our drug addiction and intervention efforts and how those combined efforts will significantly impact our community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to take a personal thank you to you and to Lourdes. Friday night, I got a call from somebody saying that they were in need of a place to stay. They were afraid for their safety. And if you remember, it was extremely cold. They called around, this one person at a facility called around, couldn't find a place. So I called Lourdes and Karen jumped right on it and found them a place for the weekend so they could be safe and out of this cold weather. I appreciate it. It's, when you're in a position like that lady was, it was just so amazing to have somebody come through. So thank you for what you do every day.
Thank you.
Lourdes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's a great story, Commissioner.
was
I've
great.
had one of those of my own. And they came immediately to the aid. It's great. Okay, did we have a motion on this already?
Move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you open the board, please? And thank you. And it passes unanimously. 23, item 23.
These are grant funding agreement with the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management. This has to do with expenditures incurred as a result of Hurricane Ian, and the emergency response, sheltering, debris cleanup, and building repairs. This grant is in the amount of $6.5 million.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please open our voting card? And that passes unanimously. Number 24.
This is a county incentive grant program agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation. This resolution is for the engineering and planning and environmental services for the Forest Lakes Boulevard Phase 3 project, which is between State Route 580 and State Route 584, which is Tampa Road. This agreement's in the amount of, well, it's $897,000 agreement, split 50-50 with the county and FDOT.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please open our voting card? And that passes unanimously. Item 25.
This request is to move the project development and engineering phase for East Lake Road improvement projects from Curlew Road to north of Trinity forward. This is to consider the full project PD&E study phase, which is the next phase of the project.
Move approval. Second.
It's been moved and approved and seconded. Madam Clerk, if there's no discussion, please open the card and prepare to vote. Thank you. And that passes unanimously. Item 26.
This is an extension of the Pinellas County Hazardous Response Teams agreement, and this one is for the city of Largo. As you know, we have 5. This one had not been completed, so we're bringing it forward now. And this is to extend what we're currently doing.
All right.
Move approval. Second.
And moved and seconded. And if there's not any discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please open the card and thank you. Thank you. And that passes unanimously. All right, and now we are on item 27.
And this is appointments to the CurSource Board of Directors, Commissioners of the Whole.
Move approval.
Second.
If there's no discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please open the card and allow us to vote? Thank you. What are we missing? There we go. And that passes unanimously. Right, 28?
This resolution is approving the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bonds by the Housing Finance Authority. This is to finance the Riverside Apartments multifamily residential rental housing project. This includes 304 multifamily units with a variety of income levels.
What are your wishes?
Move approval. Ms. Intarp.
Second.
All right, if there's no further discussion, or any discussion, please open the card and there we go. Thank you. And we are now on 29.
Under item 29, I'm asking for authority to file suit in the case as referenced on your agenda. This is a matter that arose from your code enforcement department.
Move approval. Second.
If there's no discussion, please open the card and allow us to vote. And that passes unanimously. Item 30.
I have no reports today.
Thank you. 31.
Commissioners, as we enter year 3 of the latest Penny for Pinellas renewal, we felt it's a good time to kind of recap some of the critical work that our 1% sales tax is accomplishing around the county. And we also want to look ahead at kind of what's to come. So we have a video. This part of the video is going to be part of our ongoing Discover Pinellas series that we'll be sharing on social media channels starting this week. This way we can continue to show the good work that is occurring and the accountability of what was promised to our voters and when they voted for the Penny for Pinellas. So if we could, we'll start with the video.
If you've lived in Pinellas County very long, you've probably heard of the Penny for Pinellas. Maybe you've seen one of these signs around your community, or heard about a major road project being paid for by the penny. But who decides what the penny pays for, and which projects will make the biggest impact? Today on Discovering Pinellas, we'll answer those questions and see how the penny is making big changes in neighborhoods like yours. The road you take to work, sidewalks that kids take to school, a vast network of parks and nature preserves. The Penny for Pinellas is a voter-approved 1% sales tax that pays for the majority of our local government's long-term infrastructure needs. As a sales tax, everyone who spends money here helps foot the bill for our community's needs. In fact, tourists and seasonal residents contribute a significant amount of all penny funds collected. But it's our citizens who help the county prioritize projects, like the expansion of this community center in Palm Harbor. I talked to Jenny Goad of the Palm Harbor Community Service Agency Board about the projects that matter most to her family. Hey Jenny, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So tell me a little bit about this community center and what's in store for it.
So we're here at the community center in Palm Harbor. What's really exciting is we're looking forward to having a recreation center built right next door, which is going to be the largest event space in North County, along with being a disaster shelter and having a lot of indoor recreational programming.
What are some of the projects that have made an impact on your daily life?
Well, for my family, the drainage project in Crystal Beach was actually very helpful, helping with the storm runoff so we can safely get in and out of Crystal Beach. We have enjoyed the lighting on the fields over at Sunderman for t-ball and over at Putnam Field for soccer. And we have enjoyed the boardwalk and the tower over at Wall Springs Park very much.
Since 1990, the penny has generated $4 billion, split between the county and the 24 cities based on population. And all of it stays right here in our community to go toward projects that serve our residents. Here are just a few examples of projects you may have seen around the county or one of the cities. Building the Bayside Bridge, expanding Brooker Creek Preserve, restoring water quality in Lake Seminole. More recently, the penny has funded projects like the widening of Forest Lakes Boulevard in North County, the opening of the Lellman Exchange Community Center, and filling gaps in the county-wide Pinellas Trail Loop. Pinellas Budget Manager Jackie Trainer makes sure every penny the county receives is spent according to plan. Jackie, where are most of the penny funds invested?
The major investments are in transportation, a high priority need for our citizens, and that's the roads, bridges, trails type projects, followed by stormwater and water quality projects like drainage and flood control. A lot of those projects that you don't see but are very important. We also have parks infrastructure projects, as well as public safety projects like fire stations and emergency vehicles.
How do the county and cities decide which projects are most important to fund?
Staff provides a lot of input on the big infrastructure needs based upon citizen input, as well as being out in the community monitoring repair and maintenance. Also, prior to the last referendum in 2017, the county, and along with the cities, did extensive public outreach.
There are hundreds of penny projects in the works over the next few years, including emergency equipment, parks and community facilities, and even targeted investments in affordable housing and economic development projects that bring jobs to our community. So next time you see new playground equipment going in at a local park, or a fishing pier like this one being replaced at your favorite beach, chances are it's being paid for by the penny. Check with your city to see what projects are being funded in your neighborhood, or go to the county website for more information. See you next time.
shortened version because there's a lot there. And so we had them kind of skinny it down a little bit, but there's so much more that we can put out and really communicate to our residents to keep foremost what we're delivering with the penny that they voted for. And so this was just the first step in doing that, and we're going to have a much more aggressive campaign just to make sure that everybody sees exactly what we're doing with their money.
So Barry, when we are out doing our public speaking engagements where we're often asked to speak, is this video available?
It is, and
show?
yes, you'll be sending it back up to them. There's this one, there's a longer version that I didn't think you'd want to run through at this meeting. But I think that there's a lot more we can do with little short videos and information messaging, and especially as we have projects that are coming up and projects that we complete, and just have that accountability back. Here's what we're delivering with the penny. And just for residents to remember, so the penny is shared between us and the municipalities. And so we take the portion, and then the municipalities take the portion, and they use that for the projects within their communities.
Okay. Do we have one coming up where it's going to show the, just like, this one was focused a lot on North County, but are there ones that focus, for instance, on the Gulf beaches?
I don't know the answer to that. Barbara's listening, so we can certainly.
You know what I mean? Because I've been at a lot of local municipal meetings where they complain about how nothing is ever spent in their area.
Remember, municipalities get their own penny money. And
that's my point. Most of the people that serve on those local boards don't really understand that they have their own share.
Well, we certainly would be happy to do anything you want to do with that. We certainly communicate with them, but you know, I think that is important for the residents to understand that it's a divided up, you know, money, and the list, believe it or not, is longer than the funds available. So we have to prioritize. We have to prioritize each and every day. But
And so when you do your, did I hear you correctly? You're going to do an update at the strategic planning meeting?
oh, that was on the previous item, but
Yeah, well, I thought I had heard it today. My point being, I think that's really, really important, because if we do that, then we don't have such a difficult time when it comes to penny renewal.
that's exactly
We've
that was.
been educating all along the way.
And that's what we really wanted to do. We wanted to get through this, as you know, the penny began in January of 2020. That's when we still started collecting that first penny, the first portion. At the same time, we were dealing with a pandemic. So we really didn't know what the impact was going to be, how much funds were available. We knew what the list was, but it took us a couple years to kind of figure that out, to see it wasn't as bad. In fact, the penny's been very strong because of tourism. And then we were able to reprioritize our list. And as we know, we're dealing with hyperinflation on the cost of projects. So we now have it aligned. As you know, during your budget, the penny is balanced and within our projects that we have. And so now was a good time to do that next step, which is to communicate with our residents to show what's being accomplished with the funds provided.
But with everything that's on our list, maybe it's time for the commission to take a look at that list, because the cost of doing the projects that we put on that list some time ago, I'm sure are a lot more than they were when we put them on that list.
We'll continue to update that each and every year during the budget. And so you approved a plan as part of this year's budget. We'll continue to update that. And remember, we're looking, a couple years out, because you have to first go out and scope the projects. That was what was done in the first couple of years. Get the cost estimates and bring them in, and then we align that with the budget. And that's what Jackie, the reason we had Jackie in the video, that's what she does, is to bring those projects in alignment with the funds that are available and the prioritizing that occurs as part of the budget process.
Question. Yeah. Barry, first of all, I kind of like that North County. You slipped in a couple things about North County. That was good. There was just a couple.
Lellman in there.
There was just a couple. I mean, I saw some things from Seminole and Lellman, and the mayor down there from Lellman. But I do think it's important. We've had a lot of people calling about the good things that are going on with the penny.
Yep.
Some of them have asked, did we really approve money for affordable housing, or did we really approve money for economic development? And I tell them, yes, we did. But one of the things that the state changed and did, which I thought was really good, and that was that they moved any of these referendum to even-numbered years. So instead of running it in 2017, where there wasn't much on the ballot. There was a lot St. Petersburg-centric on the ballot, but the rest of the county, there was nothing but this item. So I think this, moving it to 2018 will bring a lot, or this past, it would have been 2018.
Correct.
Next time it'll be 2026 or 2028.
Correct.
When we bring it, there'll be a lot more opportunity to weigh in, a lot
Mhm.
more opportunity to see what we've spent the money on and what we're planning to do. So, but yeah, great stuff, and I really appreciate the little snippets like this, because I think it'll be helpful for our residents.
And we're going to break that down, and we'll do more and communicate that, I understand, like the affordable housing, that's a small piece. We've done affordable housing in each of the pennies.
Mm-hmm.
We did them in the 90s, we did them in 2000, we did them in 2010. A little bit more as part of this last penny, as part of those commitments that the board made, but not disproportionate, to what we've spent. The vast majority of money is going for transportation, roads, infrastructure, stormwater, that is where the money's being spent. And even from our planning standpoint, we're finding because of cost impacts of building, it's actually consuming even a larger percentage. So that is the vast majority of the project, and we know we need, and actually it was brought up by this commission last year as strategic planning, we need to do a better job communicating that. This is the first step in doing that.
Excellent. Very good. Commissioner Justice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say, great video. Thought Josh looked great in the video, did a great job. And also thank Jenny Goad for appearing in that video, and her part was great, and she does a great job representing us on fixes. So thank you.
Anybody else? No? No? Okay, so, now we have our state legislative program, and I see our friends in the back up there. So, Barry, do you want to introduce the topic, please?
Yeah, item number 32 is the 2023 State Legislative Program. We briefed each of the commissioners and went over that at the work session. Those are outlined within your packet. Again, as listed in your packet, we'll be removing item B because that is no longer needed. But we request your approval on the legislative priorities as set forth.
I'm serious. Item what? B?
Item B on your bullets. So item 1 is allowing for specialty licenses, and we have 3 different ones. Item 2 had to do with our certified landscape maintenance professionals. However, in conferring with the county attorney's office, there's a workaround there, so we don't need that at this point.
Move approval.
Second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair.
Yes.
As I mentioned in the workshop, I will be voting against this because counties are the creation of the state. Our state government can change boundaries, rename a county. For instance, we once had a county in Florida called Mosquito County, but some people had the good sense to change that name. So I will be voting against this because I do not believe that it is our place to tell the state government what to do. But having said that, I will be calling some of our friends and my former colleagues in Tallahassee for our 3 appropriations projects.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Latvala, for the clarification. Yeah. Who made the, Commissioner Justice made the motion and
Flowers.
Commissioner Flowers made the second. Any further comments or thoughts from the commission on the legislative program? Then I have a question, Madam Attorney, and only because Commissioner Latvala brought up his philosophy and we talked about it during the workshop. So respectfully, Commissioner, if you would allow. Pinellas County is a charter county, right?
That's correct.
So for all of those things which Commissioner Latvala spoke about, that the legislature had the power to do they have the same powers on a charter county when our citizens have made that decision about how they want to be regulated and who they want regulating them?
The state still does maintain quite a bit of control over counties, notwithstanding charter status. Charter status really gets having a charter is somewhat like having your own constitution, but that said, the state does still maintain quite a bit of control over counties. For some of the specific issues that Commissioner Latvala raised, quite frankly, I would need to, do some research on that. But, there is still quite a bit of state control.
Okay, well, I was just curious because the other thing, in support of Commissioner Latvala's position, and because we have another county commissioner that's new, I think it would be nice to have an even playing field when we have our strategic plan. And Mr. Rose, this question is directed at you, I think. So I have asked this question in the past, and if I got an answer, I have forgotten the details, so you could remind me, please. I would like us to have an updated list of those items that we have put into our county budget to provide services and other things to our residents, which the state refused to do. Because I do remember having those conversations in the past about how long were we going to continue doing that when clearly the responsibility was at the state level. And one of the ones that comes to the front of my mind when I'm talking about this subject matter is when it's been several years now, that we dipped into the health department piece of our millage to give an increase to the health department for the little kids coming into kindergarten who had never had dental services.
The Sealant program.
It's the Sealant program that has been developed over the years to protect children's teeth so they don't get cavities. We had a whole big presentation to us about how important a healthy mouth is to the health of your entire body, because if you have a healthy mouth, 9 times out of 10 you'll have a healthy body. And I think that would be important. Items like that another one that comes to my mind is the dollars that were given to Neighborly Senior Services for Meals on Wheels. We had a huge conversation one day here on the commission dais because the state had refused to give their piece to the Neighborly Senior Services. And they had all kinds of statistics about the length of their waiting list and how many seniors in our county were on the verge of extreme poverty because the only meal that they had in a day was the meal they received from Meals on Wheels. So those kinds of things I think are important that we all are on the same page with in terms of whether we fund it or whether we leave it up to the state because they had stopped funding it.
Commissioner, if I could suggest that I bring that back as part of the budget. With the hundreds of programs that we have, it's virtually impossible for me to get that ready for next Thursday at the strategic planning.
Well, I just outlaid several of the ones that have been important for our citizens. If David, because you were here, I think, when we had a couple of those conversations, or anybody else can remember any more, they're going to come up, and being able to fund them like we have in the past is going to be really, really important. So as a group, I think we need to have that discussion sooner rather than later because it'll impact all of your decisions going forward.
I just need a little more time to prepare.
Yeah, I get it. I can't help
That's
the
all.
timing.
That's all I'm asking for is a little time. I'd be happy to prepare it.
See that, Commissioner? I'm just trying to be fair so we're all dealing with the same information. Okay. All right, enough said. Do we want to hear from our legislative team that's here today?
Not necessarily unless you have questions.
Anybody? No? Okay, then let's go ahead and vote on it. Okay? That passed 5-1. And on to number 33.
Item 33 is an appointment to the Feather Sound Community Services District and this individual appointment by Commissioner Scott.
Second.
Thank you. Did we have a motion?
I figured since he put the name up.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Commissioner Scott, would you like to speak to your appointee?
Yes, I think Ryan Halstead will be a great addition. He is he's a principal. I forget the school he's a principal of. I should know that, but I forget that. But he lives in the Featherston community, and he talked to several other people that are on that board, and he's looking very forward to being a part of it. So
Excellent.
Yep.
And please unlock the machine and let us vote. Thank you. And that passes unanimously. Number 34.
This appointment to the local planning agency, this is an individual appointment by Commissioner Peters.
Move approval.
All right, it's been moved and seconded, and Commissioner Peters is absent at the moment, so let's go ahead and vote. Thank you. And that passes unanimously. And now we are on to Parks and Conservation Services, an appointment by Commissioner Justice.
Move approval.
Second.
You want to comment, Commissioner Justice, on your appointment?
Mr. Shapiro will do a fine job.
Okay, that's what I like.
Brief and to
Brief
the
and
point.
to the point, okay. Then please open the board and, okay? And that passes unanimously. So 36 is an appointment to the Pinellas County Historical Commission, and this is also an appointment by Commissioner Peters.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please give us our voting card. Thank you. And that passes unanimously. And 37 is an appointment to the Tourist Development Council, and this is an appointment by the board as a whole. I believe the recommendation has been made by the mayor of St. Pete for Commissioner Gertis.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Please open the board so we can vote. Thank you.
That was me, sorry.
And that passes unanimously. Number 38 is County Commission New Business. And the first one is very pertinent and timely, and that's committee board updates and policy considerations. Commissioner Flowers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things. The first is I'm asking that the board vote to provide a letter of support. Support for me as I run for second vice president of the Florida Association of Counties. I've met all of the other requirements as it relates to placement on their board of directors, taking the leadership courses that are required, and serving as chair and vice chair of several of the committees. So I would ask for support for that.
Move approval.
Second.
And Madam Chair, do we have any discussion? I just would like to say, if I may, Commissioner Flowers, I have just been totally impressed by your dedication and commitment to FAC, and it will be lovely to have you join us on the board.
Thank you.
Hopefully, this will be approved. Please open the card and let us vote. Okay, and that passes unanimously. And then we have a resolution for Pinellas County Deputy Michael Hartwick. Is there,
Move approval.
okay,
Second.
been moved and approved. Madam Clerk, do we have any discussion? Anybody want to discuss? Okay. Please open the card and let us, thank you. All right, and now we're back to administrative procedural considerations and other new business, and the first one is the Skyway lighting resolutions.
Do you have any?
I don't believe so. I don't.
It won't be lit.
And we already voted on the letter for the second vice president, did we?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Barry, do you want to speak to this one, please? It's recommended after further discussion with the county attorney's office that a staff member rather than Karen not be the representative, and that a commissioner be appointed instead. And then it says here under Commissioner Long, so I'm happy to take that appointment as if there's.
Yes, Commissioners,
Will of the board.
under the opioid, obviously, the settlement from the drug companies, we're going to receive an amount of money. There was 4 of us that filed lawsuits against the drug companies. That was us, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, and Pinellas Park. There will be other communities that will join in that will receive funding, but we're going to be forming a funding recommendation group. And so that group's going to come together, say, here's how we can best spend the funds. A lot of it probably will be directed at our Pinellas Matters programs and things, but it'll be a collective group decision because we're all parties to the lawsuit. We had originally made a recommendation for Karen to be on that committee since she's going to be kind of being the staff lead on and coordinating how those funds could be used, making recommendations. Further consultation with the county attorney's office, they recommended that it be an elected official, so we're bringing it forward and making the recommendation, obviously, that it would be a commissioner that would serve in that capacity. I don't think the commitment is that much. How many times a year do they meet?
So Lourdes Benedict, Assistant County
morning.
Administrator, good morning. Technically, they're going to meet quarterly, but we just had our second meeting, and there's a lot of education that needs to happen, so they're going to be meeting monthly for a little bit.
But
So we
then
have a
it'll
new
back
schedule.
off a little bit, probably.
Technically, it's quarterly.
Okay, so just so you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, well, I worked closely with Jewel in the beginning and with FAC, because that's where I first learned about the idea of being able to sue the pharmaceuticals and the manufacturers. And we worked pretty closely, so I'm happy to continue educating myself if it's the will of the board. Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the commission appoint Chair Long to serve in this capacity.
Second.
Did you have?
Oh, I just got a text from Commissioner Peters also wanting to be considered. So we just put that out for your consideration.
Can you have I'm sorry.
Well,
can you have an alternate just in case?
I was just,
you're not
you're
able to?
reading my mind. I think that would be great because I would welcome having Commissioner Peters serve in the capacity that if I have a conflict or I'm not able to attend, that she be able to attend on my behalf.
I'd like to amend the motion.
And I would accept the amendment to the motion. She's been so involved and, really cares about this subject a lot, so.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because that is her passion and that is something that she has pursued frequently with us here, if you wouldn't consider her being the chair or the selection and maybe you being the alternate.
I agree with Commissioner Eggers, and it's no slight on you, Madam Chair, but your plate will be full this year, and this has been a passion of Commissioner Peters for many years, going back to her time in the legislature, and I was ready to vote for you until Barry spoke up and expressed that Commissioner Peters had an interest, and I would like to see Commissioner Peters be our representative as well.
Well, I'm fine with that. Let her be, as long as she shows up, it'll be great.
So we.
Withdraw the motion.
So I'll make a motion that Commissioner Peters serve as the chair, as the Commissioner Peters serves as the person appointed, and our chair, Commissioner Long, serve as the alternate.
Perfect.
Second.
I had to get.
I'll second that.
Tongue-tied.
All right, Madam Chair, I think we've already had the, Madam Clerk, could you open the board, please, and let us, thank you.
Can't push my thing, it's not cleaning up. I've been freezing up this morning, but it'll pop up like when it
Yeah,
feels
mine
like
has been too.
Well, do you want to vote verbally?
I'm a yes.
Oh, mine's working now.
I'm green and it's not up
Mine-
there.
Green as
Green
well.
too, but it's not there.
Doing anything.
Why don't we go ahead and do a verbal vote, if you would?
Yes.
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 Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Commissioner Peters. And we have a resolution, we already did the one for Deputy Hartwick. Okay, well, without further ado, then, if no one has anything else, I think we are adjourned.
Boards and stuff, committees.
Any board commissions updates?
What?
Did you have any
Commission
other
updates.
commission
Yeah, we have commission updates.
Yeah, all the commission updates, which I spoke to. I'm having a brain cramp now with all this. Yeah,
That's okay.
okay, I take that back. We're not adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just real quick, everybody knows about T-Barter and what's going on. Just want to give an update where we are for that.
Please.
There will be a board meeting that will be held, and just kind of going over the unwinding, if you will, of T-Barter. So there will be 2 employees remaining, which will be the executive director, David, and our finance person. And the reason that we are maintaining them is because we have contracts we need to unwind. We have things like the county financial component as well as other municipal components that will be pro-rated out so that those individual governments will be provided remuneration back based on the time frame that we've utilized those funds and what's remaining on those. We also have some contracts that are out there that we need to make sure that the language is correct so that we are phasing those contracts out. And again, we can return those dollars back to the entities from which we received them, whether they were grant funds, state funds, or federal funds. We also had our attorneys talk to the landlords for the space that we just moved into and just rented, because initially they did not want to let us out of the rental contract. I get it. But after much discussion and dialogue, they've agreed to allow us to stay in there until December, which will be after the budget year, and we will have made hopefully all of the unwinding decisions that need to be handled so that business can still take place. We also have a transportation component that we share with PSTA regarding transport of persons with disabilities. And so we will continue to operate and manage that portion. After we have unwind, the funding will go back to FDOT, which is where the money came from initially. However, PSTA is being considered to carry on those services because they already have a component. We already have a component of those services that we provide, and it just kind of makes sense. So we'll be working through those processes. And that's really the bulk of it. Of course, the state legislature has to actually take that full action to disband T-Barter, so we're keeping an eye on that. Now Representative Holcomb, who once served on T-Barter, it's my understanding that he will be the person to file that legislation. So we'll keep an eye on that and make sure that once everything is filed, we're doing everything in order based on how it should be done so that we are dotting all I's and crossing all T's. So that's what's going on with T-Barter. It's sad, but we will continue on. And that's it.
Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to just let everybody know that, over the last, 2 months, I've been just going through, basically doing a listening tour around the county. And so far, between the constitutional officers and county departments and nonprofits, I've had about 20 different visits so far, 17 departments and constitutional officers and 3 different not-for-profits. And we'll continue that process probably through the next few months. It's probably going to take that long to really kind of sort of complete my tour of the county. But I've really enjoyed it. I've really learned a lot, and I've really been impressed with our county staff. And just want to thank the county staff and the department heads for just taking their time to do that. And I look forward to continuing that. So, thank you.
Wonderful. Commissioner Justice?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Area Agency on Aging of Pasco Pinellas had our annual visit from the Department of Elder Affairs for audit, and 14 years in a row of no findings and a clean audit. unheard of for those agencies and a star for the state. So just wanted to share that.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Commissioner Latvala.
Well, I had one of the boards I serve on, and the first one that has met was JWB, and our meeting was Thursday morning. And as you know, I had a conflict and was not there. So hopefully their next one will not conflict with one of our meetings.
As long as they're not on Thursday mornings when we have.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Commissioner Eggers?
Yeah, just a couple things. First of all, for Forward Pinellas, we met last Wednesday. I'm going to send the commissioners some of the things I'm just going to touch on real quickly here, so I don't have to get into a lot of the details. But as a point of note, we have 13 members on that board, and again, it prioritizes state and federal funding that comes here locally and where we would like to see it go as a county. There's 5 new members on that board this year, starting in January, and there's 2 that just have 1 year experience. So there's about over half the board pretty new and coming up to speed quickly. So I think it's good to have that kind of change, and it really makes everybody kind of take note on what we've been doing, kind of going through the motion sometimes. We find ourselves, this is kind of a good way to get back into some good substantive dialogue. We had Teal's presentation. Again, we're approving that study update. That's Target Employment Industrial Land Study. And I'm going to send a copy of that. If I haven't already, I'll check with Kim. We may have already sent that out. But it's really an excellent study on target industries and our light industrial and how important it is to preserve that light industrial as much as we can. More jobs, higher paying jobs for the residents of our county. So third, we started very, very early on in legislative program review. There's not much there yet, but we'll keep, as we get that information, we'll send it out to everybody so you can see the transportation legislative program items that may be coming up. And then they gave us a legislative committee, all the committees for all of our representatives on transportation issues, and I'll send that out for your information. But it was a good meeting, and more on the Teal study. We're going to get a presentation on that at some point here as well. I wanted to thank the City of Tarpon Springs, City of Dunedin for their Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations on Saturday. They were excellent. And to that, Commissioner Latvala and I were at a Habitat for Humanity home presentation to the Henderson family yesterday. And they're right on the corner, and the road name was Dr. Martin Luther King Road. And so it was just kind of fitting that we did it on that day. But it was really a nice ceremony. A lot of people showed up for it, and excellent. And really happy for the Henderson family. I said something about that. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, and I didn't know where it was in the process, but I had submitted, I think one of the offices had submitted a request for funding for the Maroney Foundation recognition, and I just wanted to share where that is in the process. I think it's a $1,500 for a table, and I was just going to make sure that we had that. And I think it's, by the way, everybody should know, it's February 11th. So we get a chance to recognize all of our first responders, as well as choose one of those groups' charity of choice. So where the funds go to that charity for the year. So, but anyway, I just want to make sure that we were.
I do have the request, Commissioner Eggers. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
I intended to speak with you about it, but I have not had the opportunity. So if you would allow,
it's fine.
I would like to get back to you.
Okay. Well, I didn't make the request, but I'm supporting it. I'm supporting it, but I didn't make the request.
Okay, I have.
Now I'd like to support that too.
Okay. And so more to come.
And that is all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. I would like to, okay, so everybody's finished with their reports?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to commend Commissioner Flowers for her ability to be drinking from a fire hose yesterday morning in front of 900 people who had gathered together for breakfast in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, because at the 11th hour, maybe 3 minutes before the whole event was to start, Commissioner Flowers was asked to serve as the facilitator / mediator for the entire breakfast, and she did a miraculous job.
Thank you.
And it didn't hurt that her fantastic sense of humor came right up front in several instances. And so you did a great job, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming.
You're welcome. All right, well, I think now we are in a posture to be able to adjourn. So thank you, everyone.
Are we